We're going to invite our panel to share their views on how different partners and individuals can come together to better equip the community with the awareness of law and resources, especially in the new norm. Now, all the questions that will be raised to the panelists were received earlier from invited guests via Form SG and emails. And thank you so much to everybody who have sent in your questions. Now, I just want to say that there's also a chat box. If you have any additional questions that you want the panelists to answer, please just type in your questions, and also please mute yourself so that we'll have a fruitful session, okay? Now, we might not be able to get to all the questions, so, because of time constraints, and we just hope you understand. And of course, once again, I just want to welcome our 7 panelists. We have our guest of honor, of course, Minister Edwin Tong, host Mayor of Central Singapore District, Ms. Denise Phua, Chairman Mayor and Mayor of Southwest District, Ms. Low Yan Ling, Mayor of Northeast District, Mr. Desmond Chu, Mayor of Northwest District, Mr. Alex Yam, Mayor of Southeast District, Mr. Muhammad Fahmi Aliman, the Chairman of Law Society Pro Bono Services, the wonderful Mr. Gregory Vijayendran. Okay, now, the first question actually is going to towards Mayor Low and Mayor Alex, and I'll just read out a question, and maybe Mayor Low, you can take the answer first. So the question is there a pet topic or an area of concern that you feel a greater awareness of the law is needed for the community? Mayor Low, please.
Thank you, Eunice, and first and foremost, I want to thank all our law school deans and our partners, and also, of course, our volunteer lawyers and also our youth. Thank you so much. And you heard the collective good word has really uplifted the lives of more than 12,000 individuals, and actually it's more than 12,000 families. So big thank you to each and every one of you. I'll try to keep my answer very short because I know you have quite a lot of questions. A topic very close to my heart will really be how can we use law to help freelancers and also small businesses. Mayor Denise talked about the COVID-19 measures that Minister Edwin Tong has already announced, whether is it rental, etc. And we know the small businesses are going through a very difficult time. I'm currently in my MTI office. So, of course, the small businesses is my MTI. And my MCCY portfolio, I work very closely with the art and culture sector. And for the art and culture sector, I feel very much for the freelancers. Of course, freelancers are not only serving in the art and culture sector, but actually in many other sectors as well. And we know that individuals, sometimes they decide to become a self-employed or freelancer, or we call independent contractors, because of various reasons. One is the flexible schedule. Sometimes they also want to be their own boss. And some of them may not enter into written contract, but verbal contracts to do work for other individuals, businesses, and in some cases, government bodies and organizations. And of course, that particular contract, whether verbal or written, can be employed for certain project for a specific period of time. And in such difficult situations like COVID, that we have heard of instances where there are contractual disputes. So I really hope, and I'm very happy to see that this is actually covered in this year's very well curated webinar. And we hope that through this outreach, we will be able to amplify the message to small businesses and also freelancers to come forward if they need any support in this area. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor Low, for that wonderful answer. Yes, in fact, I think a lot of freelancers out there are really going to thank you for that. It's very, very important. And so now over to Mayor Alex. Same question. Is there a pet topic or area of concern that you feel a greater awareness of the law is needed for the community?
I assume that would be my cue to speak, because we couldn't hear you earlier. But on that question, as was mentioned by all the previous guests, we are in extraordinary times. COVID-19 has really sort of put up many challenges on different fronts, and even in terms of understanding law in the community. Mayor Low mentioned earlier about the challenges that small businesses face, as well as freelancers. So, of course, we've got many fronts that we are helping them with on the financial front, advisory on rental, so on and so forth. But there are also many other aspects of work life that has also changed. Indeed, many of us during the circuit breaker would have been working from home. So issues of legality in terms of contracts, in terms of work hours, in terms of how managers work with their subordinates during this period of time as well. So there's a lot of challenges on that front. So I'm very happy to see, in terms of the list of webinars that are going to be put forward for Law 2020, include issues that we would probably never have discussed in the past, such as working from home and how it relates to PDPA, for example, considerations for dealing with customers as well as with employees during this period of time. Of course, the economic pressures have also resulted in issues with credit, and so people are confused about their rights when it comes to dealing with debts. And so there's also a particular webinar dealing with creditors. So that's I think very useful knowledge for people who are out there working, especially for middle managers who are having to deal with all these issues. So that's perhaps the area of focus that I'm particularly interested in during this year. And hopefully this will give further impetus and knowledge to people who are dealing with these issues. So I'm very thankful to all our legal experts who are here with us, and the CDCs. We look forward to continuing to work with all of you to bring legal awareness to our residents.
Alex, for the answer. Thank you. Now, we're all aware that we're running out of time, but we really want to hear what everybody has to say. So I'm going to move on very quickly to the next question. And this is for both Mayor Desmond and Mayor Fahmi. Now, digitalization is the new norm, but how do we ensure that no one is left behind, especially to those who truly need it but don't know where to get the help? So maybe we can hear from Mayor Desmond first.
Hi, thanks Eunice. Thanks for allowing me to take this question. I think that while digitization is inevitable, in the context of law and accessibility, I think there are a couple of things that they are still very relevant. I think one, to reach the people that truly needs it, I think you do need to pay some attention to a matter of languages. For example, being able to share knowledge, for example, in Chinese, in Malay, and Tamil. You still have large numbers of people who needs that knowledge, but are unable to access law because it is just so opaque at times. I think there's one. So regardless of whether you digitize or not, I think that will always be relevant. The second thing I think is especially important, I think when it comes to digitization, how can we make it easily accessible to residents who find going up to law firms extremely intimidating. But at the same time, we are always concerned about what is my legal exposure when I dispense advice over the internet, right? So I think there's also a space for us to operate in, so that we up the overall legal knowledge of people without really having them to spend inordinate amount of money. I think that is where, of course, legal clinic can help. But I think there's also some work that we can look forward to, the pre-legal clinic type of work. I think that the third one, my last point, will be really within the context of this current period of retrenchment and slow business. You start to see probably a bit more labor law infringements or lack of knowledge, leading both employers and employees to run afoul of certain labor laws due to lack of knowledge. I think that the broad majority of people are genuine participants in the labor market, but there will be some people who are not really, I would say, the best participant, either trying to run afoul of it, taking advantage of disparity in legal knowledge. So I think if we can invest some efforts in those areas, you continue to be very relevant, especially during a recessionary period whereby both employers and employees come under significant stress. So, but that said, I must say that our pro bono services have helped to a huge extent to provide that comfort of accessible, affordable justice to the people who need it most. So just a very big thank you to everyone, whether you're law students or your practitioners, that you have made a difference to give the comfort of affordable, accessible justice to the people who are most in need. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mayor Desmond. And let's now hear from Mayor Fahmi. What are your thoughts on digitalization?
Hello. Hi, Eunice. Thank you. Thank you for the question. And first of all, I echo what Mayor Desmond have said. Really, thank you to the all the lawyers, the students, the partners actually assisting the residents. I think increasingly with the current situation, there's a lot of issues that the families are facing. In fact, in my own conversation with my own resident, being a mayor, just short stint as a mayor, I draw reference to my own NPS in my own areas. I've seen families issues ranging from divorce and ranging from even the landlord tenancy matters. First question they ask is always about, is going to be very expensive? If we need to engage a lawyer. That was always the first question. So when I kind of give them that actually we have this pro bono arrangement, this initiative that we have with CDC, I can see the smile in their face, saying that okay, this is something that they can actually assist them a lot in how they navigate through this these issues, and at least have clarity on how they're going to handle this. So I guess families will be one of those that we actually need to really look at and assist in letting them understand what are the key help or key accessibility that they can have in understanding the issues. I can just share with you one story. Actually, I have one landlord actually lent out a room to a young man, but this young man is out of job and he's not been paying the rent for the past 6 months. So I think it's more than that. So the poor lady, not sure exactly what she can do. So she came down worried, knowing that she's old and the young man is strong enough. In that sense, she felt weak. So when I suggested certain options and I get some of my volunteers to help her, and she knew that actually this can be resolved, or rather than just being silent about this and then taking the pain throughout. So I guess these are the things that I think we can continue to hear the ground, continue to lend focus and help the residents navigating through this difficult time. And really thank you the community, thank you the law fraternity for assisting the residents. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mayor Fahmi, for sharing that with us. Next question, of course, to our Chairman, Mr. Gregory. Now, community legal clinics and legal talks are very meaningful engagements, clearly. But what do you think are the key changes that have taken place through the years?
Thank you, Eunice. I will offer 3 observations on that question. The first is that this change from physical to virtual, and we've already seen how this year's Law Awareness Weeks is unique and historic in that regard. And you can, intuitively sort of gather that for some topics that are very sensitive, like divorce or debt management, people don't want to be seen attending some of these talks because, those around them who may recognize them and so on, and, the discomfort that comes with that could actually limit, the attendees from, wanting to attend this. And I've seen this also firsthand in a clinic setting, providing pro bono legal consultation in one of the clinics earlier this year, where, you could see that the counselee's eye contact was actually everywhere except at me. But the mode of outreach, which was online, enabled that counselee to share their story. So I think through tech, we will be able to reach out powerfully to some people that may be shy, some people that may be very sensitive about the nature of the topics allowed. The second change relates to moving from the straightforward to the specialized, and for that, I mean the way in which the topics have also become more diverse, nuanced, relevant, and very timely as well, so that we cater to the evolving needs of the residents. As an example, in last year's law awareness event, we know that there was introduction of topics such as Sharia law, community and neighbor disputes, consumer protection, employment rights, advanced planning, family law, as well as protection from harassment. And all of this, I think, reveals the sophisticated legal needs of our Singaporeans at present, and they need to find a way to have the legal jargon demystified. The third and final observation I have is seeing the legal talent itself move from the general to the specific. And so that calls for expert practitioners stepping forward. And you've already heard the numbers from Minister on how we've seen that grow, exponentially. But these are also niche practitioners who have distinctives to offer. And so by stepping forward at a time when we are also seeing more specialization in the profession, they are able to lend very unique legal talent and expertise and bring that to bear on some of these topics. And for that, I would echo what Mayor Denise Phua has also said, that really a big heartfelt thank you from us to all these volunteers for sacrificing their time and their talent. So those are the three observations I would make, from physical to virtual, from the straightforward to the sophisticated, and from general to the specialized.
For those three observations. Thank you. And now we'll move on to the next question for Mayor Denise. Are community legal clinics and legal talks still relevant after so many years, and what more do you think can be done?
I'll keep my answer short. I think the key to being relevant for anyone, any service provider, is to be user-centric. So in this case, we need to be always very resident-centric. So in terms of the what's, which is, we really need to keep ourselves updated, and this has shown in this year's legal awareness talks, and so forth. So we need to keep ourselves updated in terms of topics, e-commerce, scams, COVID, and so forth. So that's really necessary to ensure that we are updated in our content. The other one is also in terms of delivery, and also done this year to go online and so forth. But also really to look at the future. I think learning has changed from being a one-time, event to really anywhere. Anyone can learn anywhere, anytime. And that's something that I hope we can work together at CDC. We got to find resources first, okay, and work with our partners to ensure that some of the content that don't change so much can always be there, so that people do not have to wait for a certain month to listen to these talks. So that's something that LAWSOC has, pro bono side has, Tongi, we have spoken about. So that's a dream to work towards, to make sure that we can actually update also our pedagogy, so that the clinics themselves or the talks themselves could be more facilitative. So that's what we want to do. And I can't, again, to be resident-centric, we really, really need to look at the profile of the people we're trying to help in terms of their language. There are many of them who need the law, who need to understand the law, or need the service, are not English educated. So that's something we also want as CDCs and our partners to work towards. So want to be as resident-centric as possible, and then we will always stay relevant.
Thank you so much, Mayor Denise, for those thoughts. And now our last question, I'm going to pose it to our Minister, but also, Minister, I'm just going to put a bit of the onus on you to just kind of wrap up the session as well and just give us some final closing thoughts. How do you envision the partners and community getting more involved in law awareness? And moving forward, what do you hope to see in the near future?
Thank you, Eunice. I will answer both together very quickly so that we don't take up too much more time. The way I see it is this. I think we already have made progress in significant leaps and bounds. I think the numbers that we talked about just now bear testament to that. But where I think we can be in the next level, and the kind of more like a wrap up to what we have heard so far, is to, I think, bring it forward to the next level. And the way to do it is to look at this not in compartments, and not to say that this is a legal problem, let's just get some legal assistance, or this is a family problem, let's get some FSCs to come in. I think if we can find a way to integrate these services and to look upon this as how we can help society, how we can help a fellow Singaporean, what else can we do to make someone who struggles with a problem get more assistance? And as I think many of the examples we have heard, their problems don't come nicely wrapped up in particular compartments. So this is a legal problem, or this is a family problem, or that's a medical problem. it's really a family and societal problem that individuals face. And the legal issues that they face is a key part of it, but it's very often also integrated to other things. And if you saw upstream the family or social issues, you may well solve the downstream legal problems that you might encounter. So my hope for this and how it might evolve is to develop into something that is a lot more seamless and a lot less recognizing of the different compartments of the assistance that we can give to people. And in that way, I think we can really bring Law Awareness Week into something that is really a lot more than just about the law, and a lot more, as Denise puts it, from the perspective of the user, which is a resident-centric position, because he certainly doesn't see it only as a legal problem. So with that, I want to thank all of you again. Really, it's been heartening and very heartwarming to be part of this effort and to be able to speak to you and to be on the same platform as all of you. So thank you very much. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Minister. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. Yay, everybody. Emoji clap.